Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
There they are. Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 195. I'm your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. And I'm here with
Jonah Korchin. My name's Jonah Korchin. I am a TTP subto Astro student, and I'm here to answer questions. I'm the hybrid. I am a student of everyone. I study everyone, take the best of everything, and then make a ton of money with it. So,
and don't worry, guys. Pace will jump on here in just a bit. I know that's what you guys all want to hear and see. So don't worry about that. Jamil is taking the evening for his family, but I wanted to read from Inman News. Do you guys subscribe to Inman? It's a fantastic real estate. I guess they're just journalists, right? In the real estate market, and a couple different things caught my eye, which is really interesting. The first one is that United Wholesale Mortgage is hiring 1,000 loan officers. 1,000 loan officers right now. Do you know why?
I don't.
Because they feel like there's going to be a huge amount of opportunity in the marketplace in 2024 because a lot of people are going to refinance because
You think the interest rates are going down?
That's what they're saying. Yep.
Interesting.
Interest rates going down in 2024. Well, you look at what the Fed, what was going on with the Fed, and they said, when it comes to inflation, right, it is down a few points from where it was a year ago.
What is it at right now? Do you know?
So there's two different things they look at, right? And I didn't know this. Maybe you guys knew this, but they're looking at like goods and then they look at services.
Right.
Okay. Goods has come down dramatically. It's like half of what it was from an inflation standpoint, but services are still really high.
Yeah.
People are still asking a lot for their services. So until that really comes down, they're going to still be messing around with the interest rates. So just look for that. It's interesting. It's really interesting. They're saying it's about 5% right now. But the price index for consumption expenditures went from 6.6 to 3.4.
We still got to be at 2 though, don't we?
Yes.
So we still got a little bit of time. I don't know. Maybe this is my professional opinion is that we still got to go up a bit. I don't know. I think we might hit at least 9
interest rates.
I think so. Before it goes down.
How do you think that affects wholesaling?
I mean, honestly, what it means is you just got to buy deeper, right?
Yep.
Like at least my main market is Northern California. I would say a lot of our buyers, like when interest rates were 3%, they were buying at 75%. Then they went to 70. Now they're starting to go down to like 67.5-ish, sometimes 70. Honestly, to me, it's affecting emotions more than actual data, at least in my market. Like home prices have basically stayed flat, at least in my market in Northern California, in the Bay Area, and Sacramento. It's been kind of flattish, but it's emotions, right? Because when you see 8%, that's a big number. People are like, wow, when's the last time before now? When was the last time it was 8%? I don't know.
Well, if you
probably
look,
before I was born, I think.
If you look at the history, the average is about 7%.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, when was the last time it was 8%? 2000?
2008, 2009, 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right before the
Never
crash,
mind.
it was
No
much higher. Much higher.
Gotcha.
But they had different loans, right? You could have loans that were adjustable and where it would start out at 1% interest for 3 years. And then people would just go, well, if it appreciates, this is perfect. I'll just refinance once it appreciates. And then it didn't. And that's why we got into the situation that we're in.
That's a
so,
trap.
guys, welcome to Wholesale Hotline. This show is here for a few different reasons. Number one, give you the instruction that you need to go out there in this market right now and be wildly successful and build an actual wholesaling business. Yes, we want you to go and get your first deal, get proof of concept, but the whole goal is to build a business that is a servant to you and not you to it. Okay. Number two, we're going to answer whatever questions you guys have here. It's a 90-minute show, so we should be able to answer a lot of questions. Number three, most importantly, squad up in the comments. Squad up, connect with everybody. Matt, can you put the camera on the audience right now? Speaking of squatting up, look at this right here, guys. Look at the studio audience here for Wholesale Hotline. Come on, raise it up, guys. Raise it up. There we are. Absolutely incredible. So if you guys have questions too, we got the mic here and you will be on today's show.
I just want to say also, I have made so much money from the comment sections in Wholesale Hotline. Like I have been just like, I do a lot of disposition wholesaling in Northern California, right? So especially when I was just starting out, I would constantly go into the comments, just be like, hey, if you have any deals in Northern California, I've got, back then it was like 1,000 buyers. I'll be able to sell the deal. And I was able to make so much money just networking with other wholesalers. Guys, I guarantee you're going to be able to make $10, $20, $50,000 just from the comments. You could I bet you could not call sellers. You could just go into the comments on Wholesale Hotline and make like a decent salary just from doing that every single time you
could quit your
guys
job.
do this. You could quit your job just from the comments section.
Just from the show every Monday, guys. It's live. It's all that there's a few different places that the show is showing right now on Pace Morby's YouTube, Jamil Damji's YouTube, Brent Daniels' YouTube, and in the Facebook group. So make sure that you guys are connecting and you're posting where you do business so people can connect with you. Because there are people, Jordan, we were talking before the show, he got his first deal, locked it up, did a great job, and then got super nervous. He inherited the motivation of the homeowner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
It just becomes
I got to get this
pain.
sold in the next 10 days. Was able to connect and find somebody in a Facebook group? Yeah, Facebook group. Awesome. So guys, make sure that you guys are connecting in the chat. Here's the other thing. Listen, Open Door is planning on buying 2,000 properties a month. Open Door. Do you know what that do you know what that means to me?
What does that mean to you?
That means that the hedge funds are coming back.
Yeah.
Because we all know Open Door is the gateway to the hedge funds. What Open Door does is they buy properties that are in pretty decent condition. They clean them up. They make sure that they don't spend more than 5% on the renovations. And then they either put it back on the market, but they make really good profit selling to the hedge funds. And the hedge funds are looking for cleaned up, ready to rent properties. And so with single family residential being a asset class that the hedge funds are interested in, this is their pipeline. Their pipeline is use Open Door, have them spend the millions of dollars in marketing, and they're connected with eXp Realty. So now eXp Realty on their website has, do you want a cash offer for your property?
And it's just
Open Door.
Gotcha.
Isn't that wild?
Interesting. That is very interesting. I like it.
Did you sell any deals to hedge funds?
Not really. I think there aren't an insane amount in California. I don't think hedge funds like California as much as other markets, to be honest. So I've never personally sold a deal to hedge funds, but I've been hearing things from some of my friends who have started selling more to hedge funds again.
Yep.
Seems like a great business
What's a
model.
hedge fund, Jonah?
So a hedge fund is basically just a group. This is my understanding of it anyways. It's basically a group of people who have a ton of money and they just buy real estate. They pool together money and buy real estate, right? So they have billions upon billions of dollars. A lot of some of them are public, some of them are private, but what they do is they just buy real estate and then speculate on the assets themselves. Is that more or less right, you think?
Hedge fund's just a pool of money.
Yeah, just a pool of money of like tons of
Oftentimes,
investors.
it's people's retirement funds,
Yeah.
big corporations.
Mutual funds too.
Oftentimes, it's pension funds for government workers. I mean, it's very wealthy people that just protect their wealth through buying assets that are lower risk. And so, think about it. Think about it, Jonas. So what they do is hedge funds put their money into the stock market, right? And they're right in the market.
Right.
And then they can get a loan from that asset, the stocks that they own.
Okay.
And they take that loan and they buy residential real estate. So they're getting a return from the stock market and they're getting a return from real estate.
That stuff makes me so scared, though, because there's things, guys, if you take loans from your stocks, it depends. But like if your stock starts going really down really quickly, a lot of times you're forced to sell a lot of those stocks. So I don't know. I hate certain loans. I'm not a fan of real estate loans when it's fixed rate. Like you were talking about with the variable interest rate with that 1%. That sounds like a trap to me because you get enticed by the 1%, but then it starts going up.
Of course.
As like so many people saw in this market, mainly on the commercial side, because that's where variable interest rate loans are now. Because most people have fixed rate other than that. But like, I don't know. Try to get those fixed rates, 30-year mortgages, and just use those to make money. I'm just don't like the variable interest rates. Don't like the rules that come with all these crazy other loans of like what happens if the collateral goes down or anything like that. But yeah, I just like sticking to those fixed rate mortgages personally. But
awesome. Well, let's not talk about mortgages or the stock market or any of that. Let's talk about wholesaling deals.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about selling some paper. Let's talk about flipping this paper, baby.
Let's do it.
Because you and I have a completely different approach.
True.
Right?
We do. Are we going to debate?
We're going to do something.
I do agent outreach mainly. That's like my main thing. I do agent outreach and I also dispo other people's deals, right? Now, I feel like this debate is constantly raging on in this podcast, which I really like seeing because Jamil's here and then there's you and then there's Pace. But there are so many good things about agent outreach in general, just so many benefits. One is it's really free. Like actually, if you want to do it for free as much as possible, you can do direct to seller freely, but I feel like it's a lot harder to do free in comparison to real estate agents.
Yeah.
Because I could go onto Compass today. We go on to compass.com and I can find all the agents' phone numbers and they are real, legit data and is the most accurate data ever. I love that. I love that it's free. I love that I can still get pretty dang big spreads from it. And I still have control of the contract. So the problem with dispo wholesaling is I don't usually have control of the contract. Usually the act wholesaler does.
Yep.
But I have control of the contract in direct agent, which I love. And it was free. And there's that relationship. And you've talked about this. This part you will agree with me on this is a relationship business.
Yep.
It is completely dependent on how good are your relationships everywhere. I think something that wholesalers forget a lot of times is like you can sell deals higher if you have a good relationship with your buyer, for instance. If you have a good relationship with a hard money lender, if a buyer tries to screw you on a $125K deal, you can close on it and then like resell it afterwards and not have to worry about somebody screwing up, right? So I kind of went on a tangent there, but what I like about agent outreach is it's really free. It's I think the sales process is a little bit easier than direct to seller. I think direct to seller is much more hard sales and direct to agent is much more business to business. You still have control of the contract. And then, yeah, you can like, I have like 3 agents who are my agents and they at least send me $20K a year without me doing anything, without me following up with them.
But listen, I've said it for a long time. You find 30 to 50 agents or other wholesalers that send you one deal a year, just one deal a year, and you're set.
Yeah.
Right. So building in the referral side of your business, the relationship side of your business is really, really, really critical for long-term sustainability.
Yep.
It just takes time. It takes time to build those relationships and to make sure that the agents that you work with, the investors that you work with are really looking for the type of deals that you know you could sell.
True.
And you have to have a really good buyer database.
But you can get those deals. It's not like it's a super long time to get your first deal. It takes a really long time to develop that relationship. But to get a deal with agent outreach, I think most people could do it in 3 to 4 months.
So Tell us how.
So basically, the way you would start with agent outreach, I'll go through every single, like the three main things of agent outreach. I would call them the three departments, I would say, which is, I mean, it's the same with direct to seller too. It's outreach and then follow up and then, well, it's really outreach and then intro call and then follow up is really what I would break it down into those three sections. So outreach basically is go to brokerage websites, write down
give
all
us specific. Tell us exactly where to go.
Go to literally like Compass.com, exprealty.com.
Okay.
Look up, if you don't know brokerages, literally look up what are the top 100 real estate brokerages in America and just go to all their websites, right? All of them have find an agent on there. All of them. Every single one has a find an agent section on it. So then you go to that find an agent section and then usually they'll let you filter by county. They almost always let you filter by city. And then once you click that, they have every single person's phone number and email listed right there. You put that into an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
And then you can do one of two things. It depends on your how you like to outreach. I personally like texting. So
what do you mean, from your cell phone?
Well, there are tons of softwares out there. I think the one you guys should use is Astro Blaster because it's Jamil's software and it's absolutely amazing. That is an amazing software all of you guys can use in order to
and you're in Astro.
Yes, I'm also in Astro. So I'm an Astro Flipping student also. So Astro Blaster is a great tool. There are so many just different texting platforms. It doesn't really matter, but Astro Blaster was made for that, so I think it's a great one. If you want, also you can upload it to a dialer like Mojo or any of the other ones that are really good. And then just outreach to them, right? If you guys are like, hey, I want to go down the texting route, but I don't know specifically what to text, you guys can, if you follow me on Instagram, my name's Jonah Korchin. It's JONAH KORCHIN. If you go to my Instagram and click the link in the bio, there's I have a little link in there that's like my 100K plus per month business for free. I give away all my templates. I give away everything. I give all the texting templates in there, literally anything you guys want. So if you guys want like what you actually specifically say to an agent, that's a really good place to go. I'll also say it now here. It's really basic. It's like, hey, like the first message is really generic. It's like, hey, do you have any, like, hey, my name is Jonah. Like, do you have any fixers? They almost never respond to that one, right? And then it's like,
do you have any fixers?
Yeah. Or do you have any fixer uppers? Do you have any like
real
properties?
estate?
Just real estate,
By the
whatever.
way, guys, connect here. We got a cash buyer for you, so make sure that you guys connect. All right.
I love it.
Right.
And then after that, my next text is basically like, hey, did you get that text? Like literally, it's like, hey, did you get that text? Right. And then the next one is a bit of a pull away, which is like, hey, like, I was just recommended to you. I really heard you were great in the industry. If you're not really doing business, then don't worry about it. And then they always respond to the third one because they're like, whoa, what the heck? This is actually a real person. This isn't like some robot thing.
Right.
Because what they get is just, I'm an investor, want properties, blah, 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 over and over and over again. And I like putting in there where it's like, no, like I'm real.
You know what the beautiful thing about reaching out to agents is? It's a commercial number.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So even if it's on the do not call, it's their commercial number.
Yeah, like I don't think it's really dumb for them to put it on the do not call.
Right.
Because like you put the number on a website somewhere so that you can freaking get business,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then basically you do that, they respond, you call them, and then you have an intro call with them. And I teach this in TTP. Like there is like really 4 steps to having a good intro call with an agent, in my opinion. Number 1, introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself. Say your name and who you are.
That's
right?
important.
Like people forget that sometimes. It's pretty funny.
Yep.
So it'll be like, hey, my name is Jonah. I'm a real estate investor in the Northern California area. And then I like saying, you're a realtor in Northern California, right? I like doing that because you want to know, like sometimes they're not a realtor at all, or they're like in Phoenix or something because there was some mistake. Make sure they're actually a realtor in your area. Then you're like, great. What I do better than anybody else is I solve sellers' problems.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm literally saying. We're like, we could be in like a.
By the way, what up, Pace? Yeah. And no,
oh, he's in there.
Maybe he's frozen. I don't know. I think you're frozen, brother.
Yeah, I can't hear him. So I'm like, hey, what I do better than anybody else is I solve sellers' problems. So if you know of anything, whether it's in pre-foreclosure, tax liens, whatever it might be, my goal is to be the tool in your tool belt that you use to solve that problem and get you your commission. And that's the third part. That's like showing your heart. You're doing a lot there. You're showing your heart. You're showing that you actually have credibility. You actually have a business model that's a bit different than everyone else's.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. And then you say, this is also really important to remember. Do you actually know of anything like that right now? Right. And then they'll either have something. Obviously, they have something. Go through the 4 pillars. Do like collect all the info. If they don't have anything, this is really important in my opinion too, is, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy. I cannot wait to get a deal with you. Because honestly, like this is something that I've started thinking about a lot. I thought about this a lot on the plane about how so few people get appreciated.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like just in life, like people who put out content, like you, Pace, Jamil, I see you guys get appreciated a lot, but people forget to give it to like everyone around it. I feel like my success is almost entirely based on the fact that I appreciate my employees so goddamn much. And I tell them, I literally think to myself every single time I get off the phone, be like, hey man, by the way, you're crushing it. I appreciate you so much. I don't care if I'm mad at them. I'm going to tell them that.
Yeah.
Like always, because I don't know. I think we're missing that in life. So
what employees do you have?
So I have 2 ACK managers. So I have 2 salespeople. So an ACK manager is basically a salesperson. It's a closer.
So what do they do? Because we were having this conversation before.
What do they do?
Yeah.
Well, they close deals. What do you mean? Like they do everything. So, okay. So let's start with, if we want to break down my organization. So we have VAs who are lead generators.
Okay.
Right. So the VAs do what I was talking about with going to the brokerage websites. They also go onto PropStream. PropStream, you can download agents' phone numbers from the MLS from there. They do all that. They create them in a list. They put it in into a software, and then it sends out that text outreach, and they get it up to the point where they actually want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Then my ACK managers, who are Americans, they actually talk to them. They develop that relationship in the way that I was just telling you guys. And then the system keeps following up. And then whenever they have a deal, they talk to the agents. They break down the deal, see what's good, negotiate if necessary to get the deal done, do whatever it takes to get it to a signed contract, basically.
Yeah.
And then rest of the team, there's a transaction.
Commission?
No. Come on, man. I went to the Rhino Round Table, dude. You know what I did. Like,
you gave him a salary.
I gave him a salary. I gave him your salary, the salary you said, $70K plus 6% commission, right?
That's it.
It sounds expensive, right? It makes my overhead seem scary, but it gives so many good returns. I'm so glad I locked up a 95K deal today. One of my guys locked up a 95K deal today.
Okay.
Because I got the best. Because I got the best people, right?
From an agent. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and that's with EMD in. Sorry, EMD got in today. So he locked it up a while ago, but then EMD got in today. So I just want to use that as an example of, yeah, it looks expensive, but then you get the best people.
Right.
That's what you said to me in Rhino Roundtable. And I'm like, that totally makes sense. I kept losing salespeople who were all commission-based. And I'm like, okay, why am I hiring these commission-based people? Because I'm scared of having overhead.
Yes.
That is, I'm going to have to pay people.
Yes.
And it's scary, right? Like if you have a bad month, it is scary to have overhead, right? So, but now actually paying them a salary, I mean,
they'll stay around.
It happens. They stay around and you get crazy deals.
Pace, you back?
I don't know. You tell me. Am I back?
You are.
Seems so.
Had to restart my router like 3 times and my computer a bunch of times. So, I think I got to upgrade from this Android that I've been using to run Wholesale Hotline.
I told you, iPhones only, Pace.
I know.
Jonah Korchin.
My guy.
What's up, brother? Good to see you.
Good to see you, my man.
So good to see you. So sorry I'm late, guys. Dealing with trouble on interwebs and all that kind of stuff. I've got all sorts of work going on at my home studio, so things are getting jumbled up, and I had to take some time to fix it. So we're talking about agent outreach. Jonah Korchin does a great job of that. Where are we at in the conversation?
we were talking about we were just getting into my team or what my team looks like right now. So we were just talking about act managers, what you pay them. I went to Rhino Roundtable and he gave me a really good idea of like paying them salary plus commission. And then we were just talking about how so far that's been really good for my business, where when salespeople, at least what I noticed in the first month or two, when they're like aren't getting a deal yet because they're going through training, they're like fumbling around. It's just, if you pay them a salary, there's so much less stress for them and for me, because I take on the stress of my employees, right? Like I really care about them and I want them to do well. So they eventually get it and they eventually make a lot of money as an all commission thing. But then I also did the calculation of it.
Yep.
If they make more than $500,000 in revenue, I'm actually paying them more money on commission only. So really the only reason I do commission only is because A, I don't have any money, or B, I don't trust my own abilities to be able to train people, or C, I'm just scared. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit, or BS. Sorry. That's BS. So,
it's
anywho.
mindset, Corchin. It's mindset, and you know it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like some of the conversations you and I had 2 years ago or so. You know, it takes a while to upgrade. I mean, the purpose of being in the right rooms is not so you can learn all the information immediately. It's so that you can cut your learning curve down by maybe a 50% margin. So like something that took Brent 10 years should take you 4, right?
Yep.
Right.
What a lot of people think is they're like, oh, you know, I'm learning at Rhino Roundtable or Subto community or Astro or, you know, whatever. I'm a TTP student. I'm an Astro student as well. And so I've learned all of these things. But what I'm basically asking Jamil to do as my mentor, or Brent to do as my mentor, is, hey, it took you 7 years to do this. I'm hoping I can accomplish a lot of it in 2 years or 3 years. And some people go, well, why would it take that long? You know why? Here's why it takes sometimes that long to be as good as Brent or even better. Is not because of the technology, the technical aspect. It is 100% you are waiting for yourself to upgrade your mindset, your belief in yourself, and start investing in the things instead of being afraid. So, you know, take what Jonah's talking about right now, for example. If I told you today, and you're brand new, hey, you've got to hire people and put a team together and pay salary plus commission, you might as well just put a diaper on because you're going to shit your pants.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Like most people are just not going to hire a team. They're just not going to, right? So most of what people need to hear in the very beginning is, how do I get my first deal with no money? And by doing as little amount of work as possible, because I have a 9-to-5 job that keeps me from doing it. That's what they need in the very beginning. Then it upgrades to, all right, I got to scale this. Okay, great. Now the next question, then the next question, then the next question. You have been through all of those phases, and I've been very lucky to watch you do what I did in 5 years, you've done in 2. And it's super impressive to watch. Most of the things that have changed are not the technical aspects of the industry. It is you and your mindset of you growing into a bigger version of Jonah Corchin, which is super freaking fun to watch. What upgrades do you feel like you still have to work on right now to get to the level you're trying to get to?
Wow, that's a question. First off, I want to say thank you, Pace. Also, I'm blessed to have you in my life, because obviously without you, you've put I have different mentors for different things, or I have different ideas of my mentors. You're the fire under my ass constantly. So like, even though I might not be specifically talking to you about a specific issue at any point, I do ask myself, I ask myself, what would Brent think about this? What would Pace say about this? What would Jamil think about this? Kind of like Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if you guys have obviously read the book, but I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys remember the part where it's like the what's it called? The
board of directors.
The board of directors. You guys are all on my board of directors, right?
Yeah.
What do I still need? I feel like what I need now, I don't know if this is technical or not, but the next step for me, mindset, I don't know if this is mindset or technical. This could be both. Is, okay, I've built a business from the ground up. What does it take to build a business or keep building the business from up down, if that makes sense? So yeah. I want to open up a new market, but I don't want to do anything, right? So, okay, calculate, am I going to have to hire an operations manager immediately to be able to, and then like 7 employees right under it. And then, okay, how much cash do I have to do there? Because it'll take a little while for that up running, right? This is the greatest thought problem. I don't know if you would consider that like a mindset issue necessarily, but it's like the most creative problem I've been like wrestling around with in my brain the past week or two. Is like, okay, Northern California is growing great, probably 100K per month, averaging every single month. It's going, and also honestly, the salespeople are like really new because I kind of I didn't fire, everyone left who was only commission, right? So then I had to, with the salary, like I think they're going to stay longer. And then one of them is 2 months in, the other's 4 months in. The 4-month guy is bringing in like most of the money right now. And then the 2-month guy will start bringing in way more. So I'm expecting it to be like 100 to 200K a month just in Northern California, just from 2 people. I think I'm going to hire one more act manager there. But once that's bringing in 200 to 300, then it's like, okay, how do I replicate just this whole thing in a new market without me ever having to do anything? Because I built Northern California with like grit and grind. How do I build it with SOPs? How do I
conviction?
Yeah, like
that's that's the answer.
Conviction. What do you mean?
Conviction is what people want to follow. You know the plan.
I do know
you
the plan.
You know how to find deals. You know how to sell deals. You know the purchase agreement. You know all that. So it's just the conviction of leadership. That's it. And you want to go top down. It's do you actually have that unshakable conviction of the vision that you have for your company?
I mean, I definitely have the vision, and we're definitely going to do
communicating that.
Yeah, it's true. It's like
I know the technical.
I do. I just don't want to. I just want to make sure, because obviously when I was growing this business, I'd have like someone would leave, then I'd have to come back in. I don't want that. I want to be fully out of my business and be like, okay, can we open up a new market? Can we make it where I open up a new market and all I do is vision and outdo the vision and all of that? I mean, Pace, we've talked about it. I got an integrator, which obviously like you hounded me for 2 years. And that was partially I didn't have the right person too, but I found the right person. Tyler Wanaka, great guy.
Hey, everybody, write this down. What Jonah's saying right here. He said, I hadn't found the right person. That is part of it. But part of it was Jonah also became the person worthy of that person.
That's it.
Right.
And I've watched Jonah upgrade himself, personal development, his communication skills, his leadership skills, his go-giver skills, and leading with value, all of those things. I've watched him do that for 2 years. And then, the thing that you've been asking for will arrive because you've worked on yourself and you've done a great job of that. So just, guys, write that down, right? Like people will ask me all the time, how did you find Molly? How did you find Jade? How did you find Carly? How did you find all these amazing people on your team? And I'm like, I worked on myself so that I could hopefully attract amazing human beings. You did a great job of that, Jonah. So you found an integrator. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the next challenge is just like, because if I figure out the formula, I know the plan. You're right. I can do the conviction. I can hire everyone, but we have to figure out everything at once. What are buyers buying in LA at once? I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to, I definitely probably do know what to do. You're 100% right. It's because like I could just be like, I feel it, let's go, right? I just like being strategic about it and making sure that, okay, how much money am I going to need? How much stuff is there? And then we're going to probably do it probably Q1 of next year. We're probably going to open up a new market. And then also there's all other sorts of stuff like social media. I mean, like obviously I got that from you too, Pace. That was a blessing from you from the mastermind I went to in Subto. Literally, that was I'm wearing it right now. My whole podcast, Scorch the Fears, which some people in this room know and are watching know that podcast. That was created at your mastermind, bro, because you finally hit me with that's why social media is important, because it brings you everything you need in your business. It brings employees, it brings deals, it brings private money, it brings literally everything there. And then rooms start opening up, even at my very tiny social media level. Like my claim to fame is like 8,000 followers on Instagram. But nonetheless, still to this day, people come up to me and are like, oh my God, I love your content. It helped me out so much. And it also gives you that gift, right? So it's like social media, how to monetize that. I don't know. This whole thing doesn't have to be about me, but there's a lot of
Well,
Irons.
let's jump in the Q&A for a second. Here we go. MMA plug question. I closed 4 deals last month for 50,000.
Let's
I have
go.
1 caller at the moment, but I'm not generating enough leads. Recommendations on generating more leads with the amount. So I think Brent's going to answer this question the same way I'm going to, but I would say PPL is becoming one of the greatest ways for people to have steady lead gen. And PPL means pay per lead, not even pay per click, pay per lead. There's companies out there, literally hundreds of them, that are quality companies that you can just pay $125 for a lead that are primarily vetted. We have a student named Jeff Smith out of Houston. That's his entire market. That's what he decided to do. When his callers were bringing in the money, started putting a little bit of more money into PPL. And I think that Joe Homebuyer or Brent, what Brent is doing in the back end of his lead generation, I think the majority of it's coming from inbound marketing, paying for the leads, buying people's attention and buying their eyeballs with leads on the internet. More and more people are spending time on the internet, and there's no laws and regulations on how to give somebody an ad. Versus, it's really hard to start cold call now. It's getting more and more challenging. It's almost impossible to text people right now. Does it work? Yes, it does work. But is it as effective as PPL, pay per lead? Brent, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, continue doing this because you're making 50K this last month. So that's, if it's working, keep doing it. But I think, yeah, I mean, all roads in my business pace, all roads lead to pay per click. Pay per lead's great, but it's an auction. So if Pay says you go buy paper leads and it's a smaller market, you're going to pay more and more and more. So get in there now while you can. But pay per click, you have control over. So, I mean, they're both great. It just depends on what market. So we've been doing pay per lead pace here for the last 90 days, 0 deals. So
wait, pay per click, you said?
Pay per lead.
Oh,
pay per click. All roads lead to pay per click, in my opinion.
Because you control the lead.
You control it.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's your lead. But there's more competition there, right? I mean, they're not just filling out your once you get into people calling you when they're ready to sell, you better have your skills down. You better have your conversion skills down. You better have your pre-qualifying, your lead follow-up skills, and your offer presentation skills. That conversion part of your business, which those are the 3 things: pre-qualifying, lead follow-up, and your offer presentation. You better have those really, really, really solid, or hire somebody that's really just a natural at sales.
Yeah, I agree with that. You'll see a lot of people that join the industry and they jump into spending a bunch of money on direct mail, spend a bunch of money on PPC, and they're $15,000, $20,000 deep into marketing and they haven't gotten a deal yet. And they come on Wholesale Hotline and go, what's going on? I'm spending money. Leads are coming in. It's like, you have no process. You have no follow-up. What you're saying to these sellers actually does matter. So, starting out with direct to agent or direct to seller or referral or JV is always an easier way to go because you can get into the game without spending any money on marketing. So MMA plug, I would actually ask the question, are you doing enough JV deals where you have somebody on your team just literally dedicated to JV deals? Maybe my free Facebook group. Jonah, have you ever gotten a deal out of the free Facebook group?
Of course, man. I was saying this at the beginning of the podcast. I've gotten probably at least 50,000 just from the comments on this podcast. Probably. I haven't calculated it, but there are a few wholesalers that I met in Wholesale Hotline just in and of itself where they sent me a couple of deals that ended up being 50,000.
I love it. So here's the next question that ties right into that. Ian Lane, when is the right time to sign a JV contract when working on a deal with somebody? Immediately. Immediately. It's not really even necessarily a contract. In my opinion, it's a gentleman's agreement. It is, hey, we're going to work on this lead together. Let's JV and line out the agreement. A JV, if you guys look at a JV agreement, I give this away all the time. This is one of the contracts that we spent $3,000 on to have an attorney draft it. We give it away in the free Facebook group. We give it away to everybody because we want students, subto students, Gators, top tier TC, TTP, Astro, and everybody in the collective community to be JVing with each other. That's one of the main things of squadding up, which is the the slogan of Wholesale Hotline. You should have the terms of your agreement. You're going to bring the leads. I'm going to do X. If I do X, I should get blank percentage of the deal when the deal does X, Y, and Z. That is a JV agreement. Talking about it on the phone is not an agreement. Texting about it is not an agreement. Having a JV agreement is an agreement. So I would say immediately, the second somebody says, hey, I want to start JVing with you, cool. Send this JV agreement. Tell me what you bring to the table in the JV agreement. I'll fill out what I bring to the table in the JV agreement, and we'll come up with a percentage that works for both of us. So immediately, any thoughts on that, Brent or Jonah?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. When I think of a JV contract, I think of it for a single deal, which it's different. If you're talking about, I would almost call that a business, a partnership of some sort. Now, you're not like an official partnership. I guess, like if you're like, hey, you're going to bring me leads constantly, I think that's a great idea to be like, hey, let's sign a contract. Let's be absolutely clear. Because what Pace is really getting at here right now, guys, is you need to make expectations so abundantly clear that whenever the screw up happens, because there's going to be some sort of screw up at some point in business. That's what it means to be in business, guys. It's actually requirement to fail in order to become successful. So there's going to be a failure at some point. The JV agreement is just such a clear way to be like, remember, you do this, I do this, right? So what he's getting at is have clear expectations. I think that's great. If it's a single deal, I personally sign the agreement if it's just for one deal, one time, whenever there's a purchase contract. But if it's like an ongoing thing, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and it sets the expectations of the relationship. You know what I mean? Like this is what you're going to get. This is what I'm going to get. And it makes it professional and it's not amateurish. And then at the end of the day, there's no wiggliness at the closing. You know exactly how much you're making. Nothing is worse than going to the closing and you think you're making 10, 12, 15,000 and all of a sudden it's 6 now or something. You know what I mean? You're like, what happened here? You know what I mean? And so, especially with people that are just starting out, just getting going, and you don't really know the relationships yet. Sometimes, people pull a fast one on you at the 23rd hour.
They do.
Just make sure it's in writing. They do. People will do it. Nobody in Hotline, but
I mean, it'll happen. It will happen for sure. And I have some stories to talk about that. Nate Lasco says, hey, do I just need to ask the group to get your guys' JV agreement? Nate, just so you know, your R letter on your keyboard is accidentally being replaced by your E, just so you know. Carly, will you do me a favor? Carly, we adore her. We love her. Carly Grunman, will you put the JV agreement in the side chat in Wholesale Hotline so everybody can get the JV agreement, please? Okay, so today, check this out. And maybe these guys are on here. If they're on here, great. I hope they are. Today, I'm coming home from getting my blood drawn. I'm getting a new whole life policy to do more lending. I've tapped out my first whole life policy. I can't keep up with how many like Gator deals I'm doing. So I got a new whole life policy. I draw my blood and I'm like, dude, I need a protein shake. I fast and then I got my blood drawn. I hate getting my blood drawn. One thing that was interesting about the blood drawn before I tell my story, I walk in there. Normally, I'm not joking. This is how I have to have my blood drawn. They have to come to my house because they got to be in my territory. They're bringing a needle. They're penetrating me. It better be at my house. And my wife has to hold my hand and put her boobs in my face. No exaggeration. This sounds, I want to be coddled like a child when I'm getting my blood drawn. And so my wife comes and nurtures me and hugs me while I'm getting my blood drawn. I'm a 40-year-old man, everybody, and I'm still a sissy. So today I look at my calendar. I decide, you know what? I'm not afraid of needles. I'm not afraid of getting my blood drawn. I have a new identity. And I went into get my blood drawn today, and there was a picture on the wall. I don't know why this meant the world to me, but in the moment, it meant the world to me. In the wall, she strapped me down like I was in Alcatraz, and she was going to cut off my arm or something. And I was in this chair. They do the rubber band around my arm. I can feel my heart beating through my arm. You know that feeling? I looked at the wall, and there's a picture of a pond in the middle of a pasture. And there's a dock that goes about 20 feet into the pond. And there's a pig jumping into the water. Just brave little pig jumping in, courageous. And I was like, I'm that pig. That's me. And the lady says to me, do you have any problems with needles? And I said, no, I'm phenomenal with needles. Even though I have this whole routine, I decided at 40 to reinvent my identity. So, side note, before I tell you my story, on the way home, I decide I'm getting a little lightheaded. I haven't eaten today, had some blood drawn. Let me get a protein shake. I go to the protein shake place. And you know, when you walk in, this is a message for everybody that has a 9-to-5 job. Pay attention to this. I'm walking in and there's a charity table right there. And there's 2 dudes running the charity table. And you're like, how do I avoid these motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I avoid this situation? And I'm like, dude, we donated so much money. We have our own charity, whatever. I'll give more, whatever. I'll give more. So I go in, I get the protein shake. I was able to avoid them going in, but coming out is when they get you. Now I'm afraid to go to an establishment and just get a protein shake. But anyway, they come up to me and they go, my man, what's up, my man? I go, hey guys, what's up? What are you selling? Tell me what you're selling. Go Girl Scout cookies, whatever it is, I'll buy it. Whatever it is. You don't even have to try hard with me. I'm an easy lay down. Oh, it's a charity. I go, okay, great. No problem. Who am I donating to? How much do I donate? They pull up this chart and it's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, blah, blah, blah. And it's like 100, 200, 300, 400. I'm like, damn, y'all are getting people to donate this much money and like off the street to this charity. I go, dude, I'll give you $100. You know, he's like, oh, that's great. Nobody's giving $100 today. But thank you. And as I pull out my Venmo, my dude asks me, he's like, well, dude, you already got the Venmo over. Let's just bump it to $200. All right, no problem. I give him the $200. And I look at him and I go, how much are you going to make this year doing this job? He says, 35 to 40 grand. I'm like, okay, how much money do you have to raise from people on the street
to pay for yourself,
to pay for the 35 to 40 grand? He says $100,000. Mm-hmm. I go, I'm going to tell you right now, dude. And if you're here, there's 2 of them. I gave them the live streams for tonight. I was like, guys, y'all need to be in here tonight. You need to be in this live. Okay. I'm not sure if they're in here. If you guys see them, please tell them. Because I said, DM me. I'll take you on a ride along. I'll introduce you to my students, whatever it is. But I look at him and I go, I'm going to tell you what you just did right here is 1,000 times harder than wholesaling real estate. Convincing somebody you've never met before to donate $100 to a charity, meanwhile, they're avoiding you and you still were able to get their attention through an awkward moment. Bring them over, get them to pull their cell phone out, go to Venmo. As the Venmo's open, bump them from $100 to $200 just to make 35 grand in a year. And I said, by the way, statistics show that charities, on average, do you guys know how much charities donate out of $1? Do you know what percent goes to the charity? 9 cents of $1. 9 cents actually makes it to the children. And I said, wouldn't you rather just learn how to make $200,000-$300,000 in a year and give away 40 grand than be working for a charity that's only going to give 9 cents of every dollar and 35 cents is going to go to you? He's like, yeah, but what you do is hard. I go, bro, I'm telling you right now, what you do is 1,000 times harder than wholesaling real estate, fixing and flipping real estate, buying and holding real estate. In my life, you would not catch me on the side of the street getting people to donate to charity because only 9 cents of their dollar is going to charity. And he's like, bro, you just broke my mind. What should I do instead? And I immediately thought, like, what's something that won't cost these guys any money? That they could come in, they could get value, they could connect, they could get contracts, they could get friends, they could do the thing. Because he says to me, He goes, do you know Bradley? I go, yeah, I was showing him a text with Brad. Do you know Grant Carter? Yeah, here's a text with Grant. I was just with him. Do you know that? I go, bro, I know all the people. What do you want to know? He goes, well, I bought their courses. And I go, don't ever buy another course in your life. What you need is a community. Yep. What you need are people that are going to fill in the blank spaces of your understanding and help you get to the next level. He says, what's your best piece of advice? I said, I'm going to tell you something my friend Brent Daniels told me. And Jonah Corchin, you brought this up. Brent Daniels, to me about 5 years ago, comes to me, Jamil, Jesse, Annie Evo, Steve Trang, Max Jimenez, Rafael Cortez, and he says, you guys are my board of directors, but I'm gonna weed you out every year. I want to know how much everybody's making, what business you're doing, what revenue you got going on, because I can only hang out with killers. But he didn't tell us that he was going to do this. He just invited us to a meeting at his office, closed the door, put a wedge under the door so nobody's ass could get out, and then started grilling everybody saying, how much money are you making? What are you doing in your business? And how are you going to go up 20% or 40% in the next 12 months? Guys, the number one reason I'm successful is because of the people I am around. It is not because of the strategy. It's not because of the technique. It's not because of the economy. It is literally because of the people I chose to spend my time around that force me to become a better version of myself. And I asked this kid at the charity thing today, I said, who do you go home and hang out with? He says, well, nobody. I'm like, bro, you got tattoos, 30 tattoos on your face. There are people you're hanging out with that also have 30 tattoos on their face. Am I right? He goes, yeah, you're right. Okay. Let me tell you something. He goes, but I've chosen not to hang out with those people anymore. I'm hanging out just I'm keeping to myself. All right. Write this down too, everybody. When you hang out with people better than yourself, doing more than you, being more than you, having more than you, you become 15% more efficient every 90 days. You become 15% better every 90 days. When you hang out with people that are losers or beneath you, you become 30% less efficient. You become 30% less motivated every 90 days. Now, the interesting part of this is that hanging out by yourself has the same effect as the losers have on you. You hang out by yourself, you become 30% less effective, efficient, and motivated because the only voice you're listening to is this internal lizard in your brain that tells you to be afraid of everything. And so I owe a lot of my life, my kids, what food I put on my table because of Brent Daniels pushing me and letting me be in his proximity. So we've got 500 plus people on Wholesale Hotline tonight live. Guys, this podcast did not exist 4 years ago. It's the only podcast I know in the off-market real estate industry that has stood the test of time for more than 30 episodes. Everybody else quits and goes to Abu Dhabi. Everybody else quits and says, I'm out. Wait, I got to be consistent for more than 6 months? I'm out. You got Mr. Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji, and this ugly mug on your screen right now showing up so that you guys have a place to network and hang out with each other. Take the gosh damn time to network with each other because there's people standing on street corners right now trying to hustle a charity to you so 9 cents on the dollar can go to a kid because that's the best option he has. That guy has one option, and it's what was put directly in front of him. The fact that you guys have access to this right freaking now is mind-boggling to me. It did not exist 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Take the time and leverage this amazing resource because we can all agree that there's people out there right now wondering, how do I make 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year? And I look at these boys and I go, guys, if you're not making 40 grand a month in this industry within 12 months, you're doing something wrong. That's like foreign money to them. That doesn't even compute in their brain. And so you look at Jonah Corchin on the screen, guys, he is a guy that's carrying the torch that Brent Daniels lit 6, 7, 8 years ago. The torch that Jamil wrote, that's put together back in 2002 when he did, or 2006 when he did his first deal. It's your guys' job to pick up the gosh damn torch and help the next people in line. And some of those people are in the freaking side chat praying for you guys to connect with them and love on them. So take some time, do me a favor today. Show an attitude of gratitude and connect with at least 5 people today in this free live stream. Okay. Jane says, believe you me, I am grateful for the communities. Guys, they didn't exist 40 months ago.
Nope.
Okay. Think about what we're doing. Think about this. Not only is it one line of people carrying a torch, it's spreading like wildfire all over the country. And looking at what Jonah's accomplished in the last couple of years, it's impressive, guys. For him to go, oh yeah, I'm doing $100,000 a month in California and I want to open up another market. I like Jonah. Okay. But I'm not anything special. Jonah's definitely not anything special. And I can tell you, most of Brent's brains are in his arms.
And that's it.
We are not that smart. And we are still making money. You
the
do
dumbest
not
people
need
make the most money.
It's true.
I'm telling you. I mean, you're absolutely right. You got to be around people doing more than you. If you're a white belt walking in for the first time, you want to be around the black belts. That's just what it is. If you're just hanging around with a bunch of white belts, then you're going to always be a white belt. And there's no point there. I remember, Pace, I just went up to NAU for the 20-year anniversary of our championship team.
Damn, bro. Don't be dropping that like that. And guys, just so you guys know, if you couldn't tell, look at Brent's arm. He was definitely on that championship football team.
No, but listen, I grew up in Gilbert, right? And I was the fastest guy in Gilbert. Easily fastest guy. I go to NAU, not even close, not even top 20. You know what I mean? But it made me get faster. It made me get stronger. It made me like really put in the extra work, because talent will get you to a certain place, but the discipline gets you so much further. And when you're around disciplined people, that's what he's talking about. He's not just talking about people that theorize. He's not talking about people that stand in front and they pontificate again about all the ways that you could potentially be successful. We're talking about what really works, and it works if you do. You know what I mean? And so it's one, putting in the discipline day in, day out of building something special. But again, having that conviction that you are maybe 10 or 15 or 20 conversations away from completely changing everything financially, everything. And with finances, this is just at least my experience with finances, because I've lost it all and I've had a bunch, and I'm a lot more confident when I have a bunch. I am, because I know that I earned it.
It's a lot
I know
better.
that I put in the work. I know that it is just compounding all of those days that I was doing all the things that I never wanted to do, but I surrounded myself with people that were talking to more people than I was. You know, it's funny. We talk about Monique Walker and the special relationship with Jamil Damji, but she would wake up at 6:30 a.m. She would get up at 7 o'clock. She would be on the phones, 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock every single day. This woman had millions in the bank every single day. She would get up and call from 7 to 11. She still does it to this day. Every single day. And I was doing it from 9 to noon, and I felt like I wasn't doing it much. And then I would go to her house, literally in her house, in her den, and she would just be going bananas and going crazy. And she would be calling people. And she's an agent. She was calling canceled listings, expired listings, for sale by owners. And you were around that, and all of a sudden it just levels up your game. That's all it is. And you're absolutely right. Listen, we are not in the industrial age. We're not in the information age anymore. We're in the social age.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you don't build social, you're going to be behind as a business owner.
Yeah,
you're going to be behind. You have to, just like Pace was saying, you have to give it back. you have to give it back. You got to get as loud as possible. You're experiencing this with your own social media right now.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I really want to add this on to what Pace was talking about, because Pace constantly reiterates this, and it's completely changed my life, that you were talking about this, how it's literally a torch. So you saw how Brent gave it to Pace and Pace gave it to me, right? Because I was Pace's student. I've been Pace's student now for like 3 years. And I want to just emphasize that really, we might look cool because there's a camera in front of us and we're now making money, but truly, there isn't any difference between us three as human beings in the end, right?
Are you trying to tell me that I gave you an STD?
No, yeah, I'm not.
A social media transmitted disease?
Yeah. Yes, you gave me the social media
Brent,
disease.
I get it from Brent. I give it to you. It's a social media transmitted disease.
Yes,
that's it.
100%. And what gave me the disease the most was the fact that you said, Jonah, could you teach someone how to make $100,000 a month? And I was like, yes. It's like, how dare you hide that from the world because you can't get over your own goddamn self.
Yeah.
Right. You said that to me at the mastermind. That was like 2 years ago.
I've said that to you at least a dozen times.
You said it a lot to me, and but that was the time when it clicked, where I was like, wow, I'm actually an a-hole for not doing social media, I was in the communities. I was helping people out in the communities. Right. And social media lets me and myself go out of these communities as well. And it's amazing. I see people send me stuff and like different things. They're like, oh my God, that reel, I made $10,000 from it. Oh my God. Like when you helped me here, you don't even know it. You sold my deal in Northern California. I'm like, amazing. Right. So I just wanted to say that, guys, there's actually a moral imperative of everyone who's watching it. Everybody in this room, everybody who's in the chat, all of you can make businesses out of it that make you $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $40,000, $100,000, $1 million a month. And you not doing that, and then
you just made 95.
Yeah, I made 95
on
today.
one conversation.
Yeah, that was that.
That's one conversation.
My act manager did, which is even the cooler part now. That's the cool part for me is like I feel my pride is now in not that I can get deals, that I'm really confident that I can teach other people to get deals.
Man, I wish I could take this video clip and go send it to yourself 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know, right? There are so many conversations, Pace, where, yeah, that would be crazy to see.
The reality is you've done it in half the amount of time that I did it in. It's incredible. You've done a really, really great job. Here's a good question.
Yep.
Damon says, hey, Brent, is there a difference in the acquisition process when buying a property that the seller is a trustee of the property?
Sure. There's probably a lot of family members that want a slice of that, and the trustee is the gatekeeper. The trustee is the one that is making sure that that they get the most for it or get what it's worth and taking care of the whole process. It's usually the most responsible in the family in our experience. And so, they're the decision maker. And now there's a lot of other decision makers that are pouring honey in their ear and trying to get more or trying to think of different strategies. But at the end of the day, their opinion is what matters.
Yeah, I love that. Angie Milanazzo, just so you guys know, everybody in the Astro and Subto and TT communities, we are doing the largest charity real estate has ever seen. November 22nd, we chose a company, or a charity rather, called Family Promise. We are not donating money or food. We are bringing coats, clothing, shoes, etc., to families who are on the verge of homelessness. This is on November 22nd. Super excited about this. I actually am flying out to Los Angeles to do the chapter in Los Angeles. We have a little over 140 chapters led by Subto community members all over the country, all the way from Hawaii to Maine, where we will be donating millions and millions of dollars worth of coats, shoes, other things to these families who are on the verge of homelessness. And what's going on is a lot of them are working at Walmart or lower income paying jobs. Rents are now, national average rent is over $2,000 a month. And if you're making $16 an hour and you've got a kid or two kids, how are you surviving? And so Family Promise helps out with that. So just so you know, Angie Milanazzo is running the Colorado group. Thank you to everybody that's joined in on that charity. I'll put a link in there. It's a great way for all of us to connect. It's a great way for all of us to get together and do something really special for the people that are going through this. The link I'm going to put in the side chat right now so you guys can join us if you want. Come out, hang out with the Subto community, hang out with Astro, hang out with TTP students, and give back. We are calling it Subto Gives Back. This year, I don't know that we're going to win any sort of award for it, but I think next year we're going to shoot for a Guinness World Record in terms of giving. Okay. So, Rogelio.
He's put this a couple times, so I just wanted to address it.
Can you put a property under contract while waiting for the probate to finish? Ooh, this is such a great question. It's a tricky one. The answer is yes, but it's not a legally binding contract. And so what I do, and I have taught this for years, is I get the seller under what I call a social contract, right? A gentleman's agreement. And so I tell the seller, I say, look, this just gives me comfort to know that I'm going to go and work on this probate with you, and I'm going to go work on these things. And you have at least put in writing that you intend to sell the property to me. However, Rogelio, the reason why it's not a legally binding contract is because the responsible party has not been named until after the probate is finished.
Mm-hmm.
And so what will happen is I actually bought a deal from Brent this way 5 years ago or so. There was a seller that was in foreclosure and they had not gone through probate. Brent Daniels' team let me have the lead because it was no equity deal. I took the deal and I caught up. I did not catch up the arrears, but I did pay for the probate out of my pocket, knowing that I was putting that $3,500 at risk. Okay. Now that's what I told the seller. The reality is I found an amazing probate attorney named Rylis Dana. You guys have seen him on Wholesale Hotline multiple times. And Rylis Dana will work a probate deal before he gets paid for people he trusts. Rylis Dana worked that probate deal for that seller, of which I did have a contract with. I did not tell her, okay, hate me or love me for this. I did not tell her it was not a legally binding contract. I just said, here's our contract. And once Rylis Dana finished the probate, I called her up and I said, hey, I need to get an addendum to the contract. I actually had you sign the wrong one. Can we, there's a couple of little errors, not a big deal, but I just want to make sure we're like on the up and up. I didn't want to say, hey, we're no longer under contract and alarm her. I just said, hey, there's a couple of things I'd prefer to get them fixed. Can we do this and just sign a new one? Had her sign a brand new contract. And in her mind, she was always in a legally binding contract. But if push came to shove, Rogelio, that seller could have sold that property to anybody else because she at the time was not a responsible person to be able to legally sign contracts on behalf of the estate until after the probate was done. So I did not tell the seller. So yes, can you sign a contract? Yes. Is it legally binding? No. Do you have to tell the seller it's legally binding? No. Do you have to then sign a new contract with them? Yes, you do. The way I did it is I applied social pressure by saying, I will pay for Rylis Dana's probate cost to take your mother who had passed away through probate. And then I will buy this property subject to. So I have 5 dead people's homes. I'm trying to buy a 6th one so I can start a new LLC called the Sixth Sense LLC, where I can put all my deceased homeowners sub-2 deals in one LLC. So yes, you can buy a deal from a sub-2 deal from a deceased owner. You can sign with a seller. Hopefully that answers your question.
Best way to market to buy sub-2. I have a huge budget, no time. Just want to pour all my money into marketing to buy houses ASAP.
Join the sub-2 community and stop being a sissy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. We are dominating the entire industry with creative finance deals, and you're sitting over there trying to market them for yourself, but you don't have time. Just join the sub-2 community. Show the community that you can be a trusted human being. If you got a big, like WTF, if there's a community that is leading the industry in creative finance transactions, and you want creative finance transactions from people who will sell them to you and they will do all the work, why wouldn't you just join the community and say, hey guys, sell me deals? Okay, there you go. Simple answer. Join the Sub 2 community. I hate promoting the Sub 2 community because we promote ourselves by how badass we are. But bro, why waste the time when somebody will just bring the deal to you? Is that not a good answer, Jonah?
100%. I'm buying a sub 2 deal right now from Maj in the chat, like literally just from being like there, giving him advice. We've been going through it on this deal right now. Like the seller's trying to back out, and we're like, I'm debating whether to make him perform or not. I'm like thinking about it right now, but I'm constantly sent deals all the time, like every single day. And like I'm a leader in the community, but even just joining the community and saying that, like you could, it's just so, there are so many deals. There are so many.
I did an interview with Mitch Pomeroy today. Mitch Pomeroy out of NorCal. You know Mitch Pomeroy.
He's right there, actually.
Okay. Mitch, how many deals do you look at every day just from the Sub 2 community? Every day. How many deals do you look at?
I get about 25 just out of the Discord from Sub 2 every single day with 2 to 4% interest rates all over the country.
Okay.
Yep.
Say that one more time to the knuckleheads in the back, Mitch.
25 plus deals a day just from networking within the Discord. Because I didn't have social media for the past year. I barely got it back like 2 weeks ago.
The Discord meaning the Sub 2 community private Discord.
Yeah, just the private Discord alone. That wasn't even.
And what percentage of deals do you think you're even getting to look at? Are you seeing 100% of the deals or maybe 1% of the deals?
Oh, probably a 0.5% of the deals that are out
Half
there.
of a percent of the deals Mitch actually looks at. So if you're trying to get your hands on deals, I'm going to say this one more time. Our community is leading the industry in creative finance transactions. If you are trying to buy creative finance deals and you're trying to do it on our free Facebook group, good luck. What you're going to do is you're going to have my community come in and gobble up all those deals, and they trade them within the group. They're in private Discords. They're having private conversations in a vetted private group. So when you say, I want to buy Sub 2 deals, I have an endless budget. Mitch Pomeroy just said he looks at 25 deals a day with 2 to 4% interest, and he's not even getting to look at 1% of the deals that are having conversations in the back.
How are they finding them?
Multiple ways. We're doing a lot of direct to agent. We're doing a lot of direct to seller. I don't just teach one thing. We teach all marketing channels. And, for a while we had Jonah doing a Friday Zoom, doing direct to agent training for the Sub 2 community for probably 3 or 4 months. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of one of the greatest ways to get Sub 2 deals is working with wholesalers that don't know their butt from a hole in the ground and are like, I don't know what to do. I've got a lead that has no equity. This is obviously not a lead. And we used to call that the PACE method. It's now the Lanza method because Uncle Lanza, another Sub 2 NorCal leader.
Great guy.
Uncle Lanza made $1.3 million his first year in Sub 2 by just working wholesalers' dead leads.
He worked my leads. I don't know if you know that, Pace, but he literally, since he joined maybe like one generation right before me. And then I was in Northern California, and then I just sent him all my leads. Like I was just like, let's do something with this. We went on a few seller appointments together back when I was still doing direct to seller. So also a great guy to connect with.
Yeah. So I just see people, the challenge for me is like, I texted Dan Martell today, and I get it. I get the mindset here, but I texted Dan Martell today. We've become friends over the last year. And I said, hey, I need some personal coaching. I've got some things that are like not related to real estate, not related to finances. Like I've got that pretty much on lock. But I've got some other things I want to upgrade in my life. Not marital stuff, not kids stuff, but other things. And I want to figure out. And I sent him a text and I said, will you be my personal coach? And he says, it's an incredibly expensive investment. And I'm like, bro, why would you even say that to me? You want to know why he has to say that? Is because so many people are afraid of investing themselves. They live on YouTube and they live in free things and they live the free lifestyle. I call it Walmart versus Costco. You know how to get the free stuff, the free samples and have the higher quality experience? Pay $99 a year. Pay a filtering fee. Okay? Stop living in Walmart. For heaven's sakes. I tell Dan Martell, I go, bro, I don't care what the investment is. I need to solve this problem. And I don't want to sit in my bed every night wondering, how do I solve this problem? Because at some point there's a time where you need to pay people to give you the answer and a little bit more attention, because it's not just, hey, here's a video. Okay. You need less videos, to be perfectly honest. What you need is more community, people that are actually going to get your ass in their car, your ass in their business, and actually show you the ropes behind the scenes. At some point, you need way less videos. Delete your YouTube account and go join a freaking community, TTP, Astro, or Subto. You've never heard me say that in 195 episodes of Wholesale Hotline. But it just gets to a point where some of you guys that are living in the free world and you're hanging out with other free people. Can we all agree that when you go to Costco, the quality of the human being is just a different quality of human being?
Yes.
Okay. Let's forget about the tooth count, how many teeth they have in their face. Just the quality of the people, the politeness, the flow, the experience. Guys, when you live in Walmart, you get the Walmart experience. And when you live in Costco and you pay the $99 a year fee, you live in the Costco experience. The quality of the people, the way you feel about yourself, the experience itself is 1,000 times better. Okay. So at some point, you just need to say, I need to invest in myself. I need to be around a group of human beings that are going to help me. ChatGPT ain't going to do shit for you. Another YouTube video ain't going to do shit for you. And to be honest with you, my book, Wall Street Journal bestseller, also ain't going to do shit for you. At some point, you need another human being to help you get through that next level. Jonah, did you just do it all through video?
No, dude. I mean, I literally, I think back to this, the greatest thing I ever did in business was actually within the first month I was ever in business was I had no money. I'm talking I had $2,000-$3,000 in the bank account. I was in the Peace Corps, and then I started doing business and started doing real estate investing. I just joined Astro. I joined Astro. This was when Josiah was doing it. He caught me with an ad where it was like, what if you didn't have to cold call? I'm like, wow, that's interesting to me. Let's find out. And then they closed me. I didn't have enough money. I put it on a 0% interest credit card.
And then you cold called.
And then I cold called. And no.
Yes, you did.
I actually did.
You cold called agents.
I did. Well, what I did actually was I didn't follow the
It's all
program.
talking to
I didn't
people.
follow the program. I just used Josiah basically to help me figure out direct to seller, which is just a funny thing in general. Got $10,000. Immediately bought Subto. Immediately. I still didn't have any money. I'm like, fuck it. I'm in my parents' basement. Do I really need to leave the basement immediately? I saw you coming up, Pace. This was July, August of 2020, and I was like, no. It's gonna be a game changer if I get into Subto early. And it easily was the best decision I ever made, was getting into Subto in 2020. Now, having been in it what is that, three-ish years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years-ish. Every
day I pinch myself, Jonah. I'm like, how am I worthy to be in this place? Even Nita Patel, I saw her, check her out.
Yep.
Nita Patel, a woman, okay? A woman, for you people out there that want to make that as an excuse. Nita Patel gets 3 to 5 deals a month by herself.
Yep.
Door knocking foreclosures in Chicago. Subto deals all day long. She made a post in Subto Facebook group today, and she said, hey guys, I've gotten a lot of attention. Pace has put me on a pedestal. I'd love to do a Zoom and show you guys how I'm doing this. You need a community of people. If your mentor is making it all about him, this is why those mentors are not in this business anymore. A community is so diverse that there's so many strategies you can jump into depending on where you are in the country, what's going on in the economy, what your budget is, because not everybody has the budget to go hire a big team. So you should be having live Zooms like Nita, who's like, she has no CRM. This is what I love about her. She has a spreadsheet, like legal pad.
Yep.
This is her entire CRM.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's her entire CRM. She's doing 3 to 5 deals a month. She hasn't been doing this for 3 months. She hasn't been doing this for a year. She hasn't been doing this for 2 years. She's been doing this for multiple years, every single month, consistently. And you need people that are all over the country where if you have a deal, like Jonah will get a deal and he'll go, oh, this is great. I can dispo this inside the community across the country without even picking up my freaking phone. I can just go, hey, Siri, text Maj and tell him I want to blah, 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 deal sold.
It's so easy. I love it. I have operators in like I tell people it's like the only reason why I'm nationwide when buying sub-twos is because sub-two's nationwide, and I will find the person who can operate the asset once I buy it from you, right? So it's incredible what you've built, Pace. Honestly, like seriously, I bet you get this all the time, but it is insane how I now have everything I need without. I don't need to go to the Q&As anymore, Pace, because I have everyone's phone numbers. Munif, Sam Singh, who's in the chat, everybody in there who just knows everything technical I could ever need to know.
This is why I stopped calling my Q&A. What do I call it now?
Family night.
I call it Sub2 Family Night.
Yeah.
Because you have every resource imaginable. And if you look at this, you'll get people that will go, hey, Nita Patel, how can I find your socials? I can't find you on YouTube searching your name. Now, you guys should definitely reach out to the community, but I'm going to tell you something. Our community is a clique. They're the hot chicks on campus. And at some point, you're going to try and get into that clique and they'll go, how do we know that you're not a knucklehead? Are you filtered? Show us your Costco card. And if you're like, oh, no, I shop at Walmart, but hey, can you walk into Costco for me and get me some of them $1.50 hot dogs? Hell no. Guys, join a community, be a part of the community. At some point, I'm going to tell you right now, people will DM me and go, hey, I reached out to your Sub2 community for help and they didn't want to help me because I'm not in Sub2. Do you blame them? Do you know how many scams are going on right now in real estate? People are taking people's money. People are stealing JV contracts and all sorts of things that are going on. Be part of a filtered freaking group. I will never go to a freaking real estate investor meetup association ever again. Once I know what a filtered room feels like compared to a RIA, I'm out, my guys. I'm out. Peace. I was a member of I was a board of director of the Phoenix RIA. And the second I created my own filtered group of people, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't hang out with the people that are in the free group anymore because one, they don't believe in themselves. Two, they're not resourceful. And so, yeah, maybe I'm crazy. But guys, oh my word, join a community. I'm a TTP student. It was one of the biggest game changers of my life. I'm an Astro student. It was one of the biggest game changers of my life. Y'all are okay to go pay $40,000 a year, $20,000 a year for college you'll never use. But then you guys won't go into an actual community. Take some time and join one of the communities. Even Vina Jetty just launched her community. Go join hers. Join a filtered group of people that are doing deals. I'm going to karate chop you guys, and I'm going to lose my voice in the process.
You got to understand, like, this industry was traveling circus of real estate investing coaches going around, spending a bunch of money on ads and having really good salespeople to go in to the crowd and have people sign up for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Some of the audience has paid that with these traveling circuses.
Bro, I was in Minneapolis with Jamil
community
2 months ago. And one of the guys you're talking about, he's like 72 years old.
Yep.
Sitting there.
Yep.
Flying to a new location. I go, hey, what are you doing? I don't want to say his name because somebody is probably his cousin or something in here. I go, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm doing another seminar. I'm like, bro, what? Like, at some point, don't you own enough real estate? Don't you do enough thing? You don't need, like, can't you just do this from your thing? And these guys aren't doing deals with their students.
Well, they're come
literally
up to us,
just selling education.
You know, they come up to you, me, Jamil, and they say, what are we doing wrong? I was making money before, and now I don't make any money. And the same thing over and over. How long's your program? Oh, it's 90 days. It's 6 months. Why not make it lifetime? Oh, that's ridiculous. I don't want people reaching out to me years from now. Why not?
Yeah.
What else are you going to be doing? I'm telling you, this is the social age. If you are not getting community with anything, whatever you want to do, you're going to feel good in your gut and whatever you guys want to go and be around and whatever. Just make sure there's a real community of people doing deals, like real people doing deals. That's it. If you're around people doing deals, all the technical parts are going to be figured out. All of the confidence parts are going to be figured out. You're going to get all of that stuff. And so it's got to feel good in your gut and go for it.
Here's what's going to happen. Like Jenny B, I don't know if you're in Sub2 or not. because you have Jenny B. I don't know your last name, sadly. And it's like, hey, I would love to connect and learn how to do your deals. Here's what my students are trained to do. They're not going to stop and educate the free people on how to do the business. What they want to do is they want you to be able to generate your own leads and bring your problems to them, and they'll work that individual deal for you. Jonah, do you want to stop and break down the entire business for people, or do you want people to bring a lead to you, then you can solve it with creative finance?
What I do now is I have like a text of like, okay, bring me all of this info from your lead. If you're able to get this info.
Well, what if I don't have a lead, Jonah?
Well, if you don't have a lead, then what I'm doing now, or what I'll do is like, if you text me questions, I'll answer it because I really want to, but at the same time, but I won't get on the phone, because if I do that with freaking everybody,
then you're stealing from somebody who's already done the work.
Yeah, and I can't do my business anymore. So
right. So guys, Jenny B, it's like, hey, you guys want to connect with all these people. Clive Kluwer says, why is this chat locked? It's not locked. Look on the screen, knucklehead. Okay. At some point, guys, you got to generate leads. Go into some previous episodes of Wholesale Hotline. You will only learn and get help from other people if you are bringing something to the table. Don't just bother people. Go, hey, I'd love to pick your brain. I'd love to learn how you're doing deals. You know how they're doing deals? They're generating leads. Go learn how to generate leads, and they'll help you close them. If you don't have leads, but you're asking people for help, how are they going to feed their family if you don't have a lead for them to close? Okay. Go and bring leads to the table. Pace, I don't know how to generate leads. Go to Wholesale Hotline, type in, go on my YouTube or go on Brent's YouTube or Jerry Norton or Jamil's and say, generate leads, and go and focus on generating leads, and then reach out to Nita Patel. Okay. Reach out to people once you have a problem, rather than just saying, hey, I want to pick your brain. You know how many people I get want to pick my brain? Let me tell you a story. Okay. We got 4 minutes. This is a 2-minute story, maybe a minute. I get a guy that DMs me and he says, Pace, hey man, why is your mentorship so expensive? I go, I don't have a mentorship. I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I have a community. And do you want to hang out with people in a community that didn't pay anything to be in there? He goes, oh, hell no. And I go, okay, so what's the criticism? He goes, I just don't have the money for it. I go, well, that's unfortunate, but I actually told my partner to raise the price. I don't collect that money. Josiah does. I go, raise the price. I want the filter to be higher. He's like, wow, man, what do you suggest for people like me? And I go, watch my free YouTube channel, generate leads, and then go to my students and say, hey, I've got leads. Will you help me close them? That's the best way to learn. Go work with my students once you actually have leads. And he goes, man, and I go, dude, how about this? I'll spend an entire day with you, literally an entire day with you. If you let me record it on YouTube, you can ask me any question. Because he says, this is literally what he says. He says, I've watched all your YouTube videos. Bro, nobody's watched all my YouTube videos. There's 2,400. Okay. I was there and I made them all, and I still haven't watched them all. Okay. My goal with my free YouTube content is for you to learn how to generate leads and then bring them to my students, so my students can make money. That's the reason I have a YouTube channel. You guys, so he goes, I've already watched all your YouTube. I would love to just spend the day with you. I go, people offer to pay me $25,000 and $50,000 to spend a day with me, and I say no to all of them. It's not worth my time. He goes, I know, but I have a ton of questions that you've never answered on your YouTube channel. I look at Eric, my video guy, I go, oh God, like what questions have we not answered on YouTube that like somebody in the free world has not been able to get? So dude, I say, come to my house, come hang out with me. Comes to my house. I drive him down to Tucson. Nice guy, by the way, really, really nice guy. I drive him down to Tucson, 2 hours, to show him a $20 million asset I just bought on seller finance. And I drive him back 2 hours. Do you know what the first question he asked when he had my ear in a private vehicle and a camera on him? What was the question you think he asked?
What's seller finance?
What is the difference between subto and seller finance? And this is what and yes, Sam says same thing. How do I get started? Guys, I've answered the questions of how to get started. I've answered the questions about I've answered the overarching questions of what is creative finance 1,000 times. Now, if you want the 99% of the iceberg, you got to be in private Zoom so I can spend as much time as I effing want to spend And I'll do 3, 4, 5 hour Zooms multiple times a week. But when you ask me, how do I get started? And you just got in a vehicle with me for 2, I go, I'm done. I'm no longer spending time with the free people. My students shouldn't even spend time with the free people if they haven't vetted themselves by generating at least one damn lead. I'm sorry. But the days of I'm just going to sit down and spend hours and hours with people that are not taking action, I'm over that. I'm done. 40-year-old Pace has lost one shred of his patience. Okay. Roy Newcamp says, damn, I'm pretty and I know that. Okay. But that's why a lot of our community will not just spend time with you and go to coffee with you, is because the overwhelming majority of new people are like, I don't want to watch the YouTube video on how to get started. I want you to tell me to my face what to do. And that's the problem. So you got to fix that. I know I've dominated the last like 7 minutes. I'm very sorry. I am doing my Get Creative podcast immediately after this, guys. I decided not to do it on Sunday this week, but actually do it right after Wholesale Hotline. So right as we wrap up, I will be going directly on my YouTube channel, and I will be doing Get Creative tonight. And we can do a little bit more creative finance conversations. Brent, got anything else as we shut down? I'm so sorry.
No, this is great. Listen, I love this show. I love the community. I love having the full room here, everybody connecting. So make sure that you guys connect after the show and get everybody's number. But that's what this is about. You know, winners getting around, having conversations, and sharing best practices. And you don't have to overcomplicate this business. One, you have to find somebody that's made a decision that they're going to sell their property. That's called a lead. And then from there, there's only a few different options to really discover what's the best route for them. So, I mean, just connect with everybody, but it starts with a conversation. You got to speak with property owners. You got to speak with agents. You got to speak with people all the time. That's how you build up your business. If you have questions about lead generation, there's a ton of videos on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel, Jamil Damji YouTube channel, Pace Morby YouTube channel, Jerry Norton YouTube channel. You can get all of that. There's no excuses. There's literally no excuses. And so just take massive imperfect action every single day and you win. That's it. And Jonah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, I want to thank you guys for having me on here 100%. Like, this has been so fun. I love it. And yeah, and if you guys want to learn stuff too, I also have a YouTube channel, not quite as developed as these guys, but they're starting to become much more longer form content on there. Like 3 weeks ago, I did 12 hours where I was closing agents' leads, and it ended up just being a sub-2. It was all sub-2 deals. All the sub-2 members came out, submitted a bunch of deals. So it was just me like talking to owners or talking to agents about sub-2, and like got very, very close to closing one right there. Didn't quite get it there, but like you can see exactly what Pace taught me basically live right there for free on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want like cool educational content about especially real estate agent stuff, that's on my YouTube channel. And then if you want to talk to me, follow me on Instagram. It's just my name, Jonah Korchin. I saw a few people putting on there. DM me. I will text anybody back to answer their questions. I have my own podcast on Mondays. It was this morning called Cash Flow and Coffee, where I answer all the questions inspired by Wholesale Hotline. So I just want to say personally, thank you both so much for being such awesome human beings.
You're the man, Jonah.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, I'm going to say I love you guys, and that's it.
What's your Instagram?
Jonah Korchin, my name.
Love it. Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.